You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Hey Overwatch fans, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. This is Overwatch Contenders Daily, and I'm your host, forever and always, LemonKiwi. Today's guest, I will make up for missing Monday's video, is asking. This is the DPS player from 6nakes, #1 EU trials team at the current moment. I wanted to bring him on since he's new to the roster, ask him how the synergy is going with the rest of the team, how they went from 0-5 in the regular season last season to now being one of the top EU trials teams at the current moment. They also play second in pits, so they're doing super well with all the changes they've done. And I want to ask him how they're preparing against their upcoming matches versus Bazooka Puppies and Singularity in their final week of trials, and if they do make contenders, who would be their biggest competition. No spoilers yet, you'll have to watch it. But before we get into my interview, I want to go over some contenders news, and there's quite a bit since I missed Monday, so bear with me here. For North America, Rascal, former Genji player for the Dallas Fuel, has joined NRG Esports, so an NA Contenders team. So this was a shock to everybody, but hey, good luck to him. Secondly, in North American news, last night's leftovers have officially secured their North American Contender spot from trials. They're 5-0, looking hot, and they have also announced a new analyst joining the roster, MKL or Mikkel. So congrats to them, stacking their roster even better. For Pacific Contenders news now, EXL Esports. So this was the team that bought Detonator Korea's spot. Detonator Korea won Pacific Contenders last season. So we've all been waiting who their roster is going to be, since Detonator Korea's roster is all over the place now. But they have announced their roster being Melon, Gable, Agnes, Zeroer, Assassin, Victorious, Medic, and Chloe. So good luck to EXL Esports. For South American news now, we got Isurus Gaming, who plays second in South American Contenders, have announced their new roster, and this consists of Klaus, Valen, Beast, X-Ravage, DDX, Kaisak, Simon, Basoid, John, and Ornelas. So I probably butchered all your names, but congrats to the new roster. Looking forward to what you guys can do. And secondly and finally for the news, South American playoff team Battalion, the roster has been acquired by an organization called 2Kill, so you're going to see a lot of new organizations and teams coming into contenders all around the world, and we're all excited for trials to wrap up so we can see how the competition lines up. But that is it for the news today. Let's get into my interview with Asking from 6nakes. And I'm here, joined with me is William Asking Vetter, but you know him as Asking, and you know him as the DPS player from 6nakes, which I just found out 5 seconds ago how to actually pronounce it. It's not 6nakes or 6nakes, it's just 6nakes. And they are the #1 EU trials team at the current moment after week 2, but they're going into their final weeks. I wanted to bring you on, Asking, or I guess, like, do you want to be called William? Asking seems like...
Asking is better.
I will call you Asking then. So how are you doing?
Fine, and you?
I'm doing great. And yes, you guys can notice he's French. We're both Frenchies. You're the legit French, though. You're from France, and I'm the fake French from Canada. But your accent's actually not as bad. I fully sound English, but we'll get into the first question. So you are newer to the team. And to put into context of the history of the team, so 6nakes played under Mosaic Esports last season of regular season, and they bottomed out 0-5, and now they're fighting for their spot in trials. And this is where their roster had some changes, such as yourself and Nesh joined as the 2 new DPS, and other actually roster changes came through. So what's your story of how you joined the team and how you kind of got to know everybody?
I think that for being in 6nakes, I have to thank Getamez from Eagle Gaming, because actually he's the guy that make me in contact with Christopher, the tank player, and that make me possible to do the trial in the team and putting me in the DPS.
Oh, is that easy? You just tried out and got the spot right away?
Not really, because they had to choose with 2 other DPS, and when they choose me, they were like, yeah, you frag a lot, so we take you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That sounds good. And you mainly play Hanzo and Tracer, right? Or a little bit of everything?
I'm mostly playing Hitscan, so it's like Hanzo, Widow, McCready, Soldier. Like I'm really a bad Tracer, so
Oh, really?
if in a match I have to play Tracer, it means that something's really,
not working.
Yeah.
I've seen you pick it up a couple times, but so how has your synergy been working with Nesh? I've seen Nesh pull a really nasty Pharah, and just, you're new to the team and so is he, so how is working with him?
Pretty good so far. Actually, I never thought I would I had to believe such DPS like him. Like, he's really good. Sometimes he's carrying our whole team, and sometimes I have to carry when he's dead. Like, this is the kind of synergy that duo of DPS have to have.
Yeah. So when he's dead, you carry. When you're dead, he carries. So
it's like, oh, you carry? Okay, it's my turn. Oh, you dead? Okay, I let you. It's like this kind of thing.
Well, which is pretty surprising now. After week 2 of trials, your team sits in first place with a 4-1 record, 14-5 map count, and you guys placed second in Overwatch Pit, which might have come to a surprise to everybody after how kind of last season went. So why do you think there was such a drastic difference between last season and this season for your team? Is it just mainly due to the roster changes? Is there better in-game and out-of-game leadership? Is it a better meta for your team? Or what's working for you guys?
I think the meta is actually helping us a lot, since you have to play with maybe 3 DPS or double sniper. Since our Nesh and I are really good sniper, we can do almost everything in this meta. Whatever we have against us, we always find an answer. And I would say maybe we are winning because of the atmosphere in the team. It's really cool one. I never seen something like this. It really helps a lot when your team is not fighting each other's. Everyone is helping a lot. This is really a good place to evolve, actually.
So how's been the difference between the patch that you played on Pit, which is live patch, and then patch 1.22, I think, in trials? So I know you play a lot of Hanzo. Has that affected your choice in heroes?
Yeah, a lot, especially because when we were tryharding for the Pit, we had to play one match, the first match for the Contenders trial. It was against 1 point. And we were the day of the match, we were okay, guys, we never played in OPR. What should we do? Hanzo? Okay, let's try. After one round, we just got completely because we were okay, Hanzo, it's not working. Let's do a dive, and we try everything, and we just got absolutely because we didn't prepare and we didn't know who were the enemy and what will they play. So it was completely our own mistakes, and now we are fixing it, definitely.
Yeah, pretty anti-dive with Brigitte there, and then you got Storm Arrow Hanzo, which you did actually pretty well in the live patch, but I get the transition between 2 different Hanzos, and then Brigitte and no Brigitte can be kind of hard to go against, especially when your team is so good at dive, right?
Yeah, because since on this patch, the Hanzo is ridiculously OP.
Yeah.
The amount of damage that he can do per second is just insane, and the Brigitte is kinda strong in the OPR, so it's you almost have to play. I mean, when there is map with no high ground, you have to play Brigitte, and this is really helping you, especially if you are playing versus a dive tracer. She will get just completely fucked, and she will do nothing. And she will have a sad life for sure.
Right. And what was I going to say? Do you guys have a designated Brigitte player? Because I only got to watch some of your Pit matches. Your trials matches haven't been broadcasted. So do you guys have a Brigitte? Is that because it's usually sometimes the DPS that picks up the Brigitte?
We don't have a main Brigitte, but we have 2 guys who can play Brigitte. Since I don't know how to play her, it's mostly Heiko and Nesh that have to play her.
Oh, okay. Well, That's what I was getting at. Unfortunately, so your trials, like I said, haven't been streamed. And you brought up 1 point earlier. You lost to them 4-0 in your very first match. And you've been handling every other team with ease. So what was the issue against 1 point? Was it that patch transition you were talking about? Or what is 1 point doing?
Definitely. Like, we were not prepared, as I said, and so we just got completely surprised, in fact. So it was very, how can I say this, unprofessional from our side to not practice OPR in the same time of the pits, but we couldn't do it, so we had to focus in like only one tournament. So we choose, we're gonna finish pit first, and after we're gonna go full tryhard on the OPR. And like the 1 points, I think they didn't play the pits, so they had like lot of time to prepare actually on the OPR. So it's sure they had more time, but they are really strong actually in OPR. So that didn't make thing quite easily for us. Like they just destroyed us, but now it's Goshi.
Yeah, no, they're pretty high in the standings too. I think they're third right now in trials, so they're a pretty good team. And of course, now that they didn't have to worry about pit, I think every other EU team or a lot of EU teams were in pit, and maybe not actually prioritizing pit since trials would actually matter more for the future. So were you guys more focused on pit for like the money reason, or why did you prioritize pit over
It was a test. Actually, it was a test. It was like, what is our currently, I mean, our coach were like, okay, we're gonna do pit and we're gonna see what are we gonna do, and we're gonna fix every mistakes that we are doing. So like, it's almost, actually the pit was a very test for me because it was my really big tournament. It was literally my first one since it's my first team.
Oh.
It was like testing
like a stress test, yeah.
Yeah, like it was for testing everyone, and it worked pretty well actually.
So there's a good chance you'll see 1 point in Contenders. I mean, assuming the standings will stay how it is in week 3. So how will you prepare against 1 point next time? Are you guys going to implement like Brigida and try and counter them in a certain way, or?
I think we have just to play good and not play like we did actually.
Just take it more seriously and you'll do well.
Oh yeah, I think we already took them seriously, but we weren't prepared. So that was the EX in the history, but we already know how to beat them. I won't say it, of course, because it's secret.
It's super secret. Okay.
But we already know for almost every team in the Contenders trial how to play against them and how they work. Actually.
So speaking of other trials teams, you have a pretty tough week coming up. You got Bazooka Puppies for the first match and Singularity on the second one. And both those teams, you, or at least your previous team, has played against in the Contenders regular season last season. So what are you preparing against a team like Bazooka Puppies and Singularity, and what are your strengths against them?
Almost, I mean, shit, let's see. I think versus every team, we are analyzing their playstyle, what they play, what do they answer to other composition, and then we work on this. We work on what mistake they used to do. If they do really stupid mistakes in the when we are watching them, we are writing there like, okay, he's doing this, we have to punish him. And after we do the FIOD review, we just train a lot. Actually, there is no secret in winning match. Like, you just win, like, you not win, but you play a lot with your team. You have to work your synergy. This is what makes team win actually, and especially if you got a really good sniper combo in this meta that make you really win a lot of games in a lot of situation.
So your team is more focused on improving your own capabilities and especially improving or working on your double sniper comp, which is of course OP in this. And And VOD reviewing as much as you can from, although Trials is not being broadcasted as much as we would like, then you can try and prepare as much as you can, but you just have like if you play well, then you can beat any team kind of mindset, right?
Yeah, actually the meta is really like on double sniper with the Hanzo. If it were Hanzo, it would probably stick to the dive or something like this. Like, if your double sniper are really good and know how to play, how to kill someone without getting picked or getting sneaky, this kind of thing, you can really put the enemy in a comfortable position. So you just have to push them after, and it's not easy, but you are more confident after.
Right. Well, I'm excited to see more of your Hanzo play and how Nesh is going to just synergize with you as time goes by. I know you're new to the team, but it's just interesting to get to know your team's story. And sometimes teams have like these set strategies. Okay, this team plays a lot of, I don't know, triple DPS, or this team plays quad tank a lot. And then some teams are like prepared for the weird stuff that teams bring out. But it's surprising to see that you guys are so focused on yourselves, which is in a strategy in its own. Don't worry about everybody else. Keep in your own head. But with how everything is going so far, you guys have pretty good chances of making it into Contenders. So with the teams that are in Contenders right now, which team are you looking forward to playing against, and who would be your biggest competition?
I think it will be British Hurricane, because you will see soon what's gonna happen for them. A big changement in their roster, and it's like, for me personally, I can't wait to play against Eagle because they are French, and this is the best French team actually.
You said Eagle Gaming?
Yep.
Yeah, they took first in pit over you, right? So yeah, that's another kind of spicy rivalry coming up.
They really crushed us in the pits. We were completely splitted against their composition tank, and we didn't know how to play, but we trained a lot against tank. We are not perfect actually, but we can put up some good fights.
Right. We'll try and make it not a 4 Overwatch, as a different story from Pit, right?
Yeah, we won't do the same mistake that we did. If we play against them, it won't be 4-0, for sure.
We'll take a map and then, best case scenario, win the match, right? But I mean, as the regular season moves on, you'll get to know each other a little bit more in your compositions. But British Hurricane is a pretty easy choice since they look like the #1 EU team by far over everybody. And is your team able to go against triple and quad tank? That seems to be Hurricane's signature thing.
I don't think we will even play quad tank or even triple tank, because this is not our playstyle, and we won't play something that we hate and we don't play actually. Like, this is like forcing you to do something that you don't like. You're just gonna don't like it, and so this is not gonna work.
Yeah, triple tank, triple support is pretty hot right now.
It's pretty hard to play against it. It's easier than every other comp to play, because you don't have, I mean, if someone in your team is not that good mechanically, or you don't give it, you just say, hey man, go bring it. You will wreck everyone because this is a great hero, haha, and things gonna work for you.
Well, I'm just excited to see how your next 2 matches will go. Hopefully you still stay on top. I mean, I would assume that you guys would make it to Contenders, but I don't want to jinx anything. But I want to wish you luck in the rest of your matches and trials, and hopefully we'll see you in Contenders. And thanks for coming on for this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and this was William asking Vetter from 6nakes. Catch his matches coming up, if they're streamed or not, but you'll most likely see him in Contenders. This was Overwatch Contenders Daily, and we're going to see you next week.